Hi everyone, I'm Karla Selp. Welcome to Ole Grown. As you can see, I'm sitting on my couch in the middle of my living room. And what do you do on your couch in their living room in the middle of the winter? You look at seed catalogs, or at least that's what I do, and pick out the different things that you are dreaming of growing the next year. So I thought I would take you on a little journey through my seed box today. I'm going to show you the types of things that I'm hoping to grow this year or have tried before, and it might spark some ideas of something that you could grow here in Olympia. Now, this one I don't know how to say. Moronga squash. It's a type of pumpkin. Claims to be very rare, so that's probably why I had to buy it. And I grew this. I didn't grow this last year because I was growing a different type of pumpkin, but it turned out this was one that I liked and I would grow it again. So that's an option for you. Now, this is the one that I grew last year. I don't even know how to say it. Squash galou de Asnis, but I don't know. I have no idea. My French, as you probably have detected by now, is horrible. I'm good at a lot of languages, but not French. French is not my language. This one I grew for the first time last year, and I loved it. It was a gorgeous. I thought it was gorgeous. I had so many people tell me that was such a hideous pumpkin, but I thought it was gorgeous. This kind of looks orange, but really the flesh is sort of this beautiful pink color, and then it's covered with these warts basically all over it. And I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. This particular pumpkin is usually used to make soup in France, and that's the way I've been using it. It was one of the nice things about this, the cavity in it is actually pretty small. So for the size of the pumpkin, which wasn't small, the pumpkins were probably like this big that I was growing last year. So they weren't exactly small pumpkins, but even for that size, they were heavy. And that was, as I found out, because the seed cavity is pretty small, so you're getting a ton of flesh for the amount of space that this is taking up, which it does take up a fair amount of space. I was gone on vacation, and when I came back, it had taken over one whole end of my garden. But I didn't mind. There was nothing growing there anyway. So if you're going to grow this, definitely put it in a space where it can ramble. But if you like to grow your own pumpkin, this is definitely one to put on your list, in my opinion. I didn't try using it to make pie. I don't make that much pie. But for soup, which is what I used it for primarily, or even you could use it for smoothies, I think it would be great. What I do is I take the pumpkin, I bake it in the oven, and then I scoop out the pumpkin and freeze it so that I can use it in soups and smoothies. And I would definitely grow this again. I loved that pumpkin. Now, getting to the end, last one for May, we have this cucumber. Again, no idea how to pronounce it, but Beit Alpha, Beit Alpha, Alpha. This is a cucumber I would definitely grow again. The skin is really thin. There's no bitterness to the cucumber. The size was good. I don't like gigantic cucumbers, and so this is a bit of a smaller one. It's very tender. I think I already said this, but like no bitterness. I loved it. You don't have to peel this. It's fantastic. If you're looking for kind of just a good, solid, green, regular cucumber, I would go with this one for sure. Beit Alpha or Beit Alpha, Beit Alpha. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but I know it's delicious. And it grows well here in Olympia. So that's a good one. Whew. Okay. done with May. Let's go on to June. Okay, this is kind of funny because I only have one thing in June. um, but some of the ones I went over in May might actually go over to June. It just depends upon the year. But this is the Sunset Runner Bean, and this is one that I would plant directly in the soil. And I was not sure when I first started planting runner beans whether you could really kind of eat them or whether people just grew them for the flowers, because the flowers are really pretty. This one has this beautiful sort of peach colored flower on it, and I absolutely love it. The bees love it too. And so this is a great one if you like just the flowers, but as I found out, if you harvest them young, they are a great bean just to eat. I really enjoyed them. They're very the bean has kind of like a lot of meat to it, and so there's quite a bit of substance there. If you let them get old, they will get stringy and tough, and they're not too good once they start developing that seed inside. So get them young and they'll be good. And another benefit is that when you pick them younger, they're going to put out more flowers and keep growing. In fact, even though I have mine trellised, they were so prolific or growing so well this year, I had to take pruning shears and just whack them off at the top because they were growing over the trellis, and those were never going to ripen in time anyway to use. So I just whacked those off from the top so that it wouldn't take over my whole garden. So they can do that if they're having a good year. But in general, the flowers are just really pretty, and the beans are edible, especially if you use them young. All right, at this point in the year, I'm usually exhausted and kind of tired of planting stuff, but there still is an opportunity to plant more, and that is my fall plantings, or the fall plantings that I never really get around to, or I'm usually too late on. What I have found is that I have to start my fall plantings sooner. I need to start my fall plantings really in June. So maybe my fall planting section needs to be put in with my June planting section, because I have found that usually I don't plant stuff soon enough for them to ripen or mature far enough along in my garden to be usable over the winter. And part of the challenge for me, you might be able to plant later where you're gardening, depending upon your situation. I have two challenges. One is that I have trees on the south end of our property, and so around April, late March, beginning of April is when the sun first starts really hitting my garden where I grow my vegetables. And then I kind of remember exactly where it is in the fall, but early in the fall, the sun goes behind those trees again during the day, and so I have very limited sunlight. So that's one factor. The other factor is that I live by a lake, which has kind of a cooling effect, so it's generally cooler here. And for example, I will notice some of my master gardener friends are posting that they have, this flowering in their garden, where mine are, at least a week or two behind. And so I just have a cooler microclimate exactly where I live. So that's not good or bad. I just need to learn to adapt to it and start my fall planting earlier so I can get those plants mature enough to actually have something to eat over the winter, which is my goal. So let's go through my fall planting stuff here. Castel Franco chicory. I tried to get some of this started last year. Several different types of chicory, as you'll see, and I tried to get it going while I was gone on vacation by putting it out. It didn't really work. So, but my goal is to have chicory over the winter, and this looks like a great one. It's a little bit of a pinkish hue to it, and I'd love to give that a try. Here is a great winter cabbage. I tried growing this last year. In fact, I planted this in one of the episodes that I did last year. But what happened was I planted it outside and I wasn't paying attention to the weather, and then we had a really big cold snap, and the cabbage survived, but it never put on a head. It just bolted and started putting out seed because cabbage is a biennial, and so what that means is that they put out, you grow them one year, they overwinter, and then they put out seed. And so the cabbage thought it had been through its winter and just put out seed and never put on a head of cabbage. So that was a bummer because this looks really beautiful and I would love to grow it. Violaceo di Verona. Sounds very Italian. I'm trying to make it sound Italian at least. So I'm going to give that a try this year. We're going to get that for the fall. Nasturtium, I don't know how this made it in the fall. This should really be in like April. I love growing nasturtiums because the flower is edible, as are the leaves, and they've got this beautiful peppery kind of flavor. And I like adding it to salads because it's pretty. It's flowers in your salad. It's beautiful. Another one I haven't grown yet, but if you're looking for a cover crop, this is a pink buckwheat, and Takane Ruby is the name of it. And I think I have another type of pink buckwheat as well. This I haven't grown, but I'm looking forward to trying it. We might be hearing that a lot from my fall growing section. So I haven't grown it, but here's more Simpson lettuce. I know I put that in there because of here's a Rosa chicory. Isn't that beautiful? It's like a pink color. I would love to be able to grow chicory and add that to my salads in the winter. Swiss chard. This is one that you could grow during the regular season, or I didn't want to grow it in the spring. I just wanted to have it for the fall. But I've grown it all times of year. I've grown different types of Swiss chard. My favorite by far, this is a mix. This is Bright Lights, so it's a mix of different types of Swiss chard. But my favorite was a peppermint. There's a peppermint Swiss chard, which doesn't taste like peppermint, but it's got this beautiful pink and white streaked stem. So that's a great one if you're looking for a new one to try and grow, Swiss chard. And then you've got coriander. Coriander or cilantro, they're the same thing. Coriander is usually the seed. People call the seed coriander, but the plant cilantro. But they're exactly the same thing. It prefers cool weather. So this actually needs to be tucked back into my earlier planting. Some of my plants are spring and fall, and so they made it to the fall and they haven't yet made it back to the spring. So this is one of those. Cilantro, I love cilantro, absolutely love it. I hear it's one of those things people either love or hate. I'm a lover. I love the cilantro. Fennel, another thing that I've never actually grown successfully. Actually, I don't think I've even tried it. But fennel is one of those things I want to try to grow. I also never really eat it very much, so I'm interested in learning to both grow it and enjoy it in my diet. I do love sort of a licorice flavor, which I know the fennel has, so I would like to grow some fennel. Here's another chicory that I want to grow. Apparently, I want to grow all types of red shaded chicory of one kind or another. This one is Paula Rosa Maverick. And here is a very frilly endive. Again, one that I would like to grow but haven't. This I'm definitely want to grow this year. This is a red Reuben Brussels sprouts. Now, one of the things about Brussels sprouts is they do take a while to mature. So I definitely have to get these things going in June. But I've also got the Long Island improved Brussels sprouts here as well. So I would love to have next winter a green Brussels sprout and a red Brussels sprout. But truth be told, this is really for my husband. He's the one who loves the Brussels sprouts. But I might eat them too if they came out of my garden. So hoping for Brussels sprouts next fall. And there are also some good fall radishes. And this one I have not grown, but I would like to. It's the Chinese red meat. So some people know it as a watermelon radish. I would love to grow some of that in the fall. Brunswick cabbage. This one is supposed to be really cold hardy, so it could potentially stay in the ground through the winter, especially with a little bit of protection, or it's supposed to store very well. So there are certain cabbages that will, well, and other types of vegetables and fruits that last better than others if you try to store them. And this is one, the Brunswick cabbage, that is supposed to be pretty good for storing and very cold hardy. From 1924, it says. So maybe we'll get that. Here's my fall planting of the Merlot lettuce. Again, like I said, that was very successful. Here is another chicory that is more of a yellow chicory. And I actually got these seeds from Italy. It'll be interesting if I could see if I can actually get them to grow. That's my goal this year because I didn't have very good luck with it last year. And here's the other buckwheat that I was talking about. That was a pink color. This one's called Rose Red buckwheat. And I love the look of the flowers. So that's really my goal would be to have either fall planting or fall cover crops in my garden, but I haven't gotten there yet. But I still have the seeds, so we can do it some year, hopefully. Here is now again another one I don't know how to say, but a fall radish, Chinese shawo, shawo, fruit radish. And as I understand it, oftentimes they pickle these in China. So that's something that I would like to try. Here's another type of chicory, but it is a different style. So not the head style, but sort of a leaf style of chicory. And it has that really red stem. So I think that'd be a great and fun thing to try too. Again, as we're going through a lot of these fall ones, I either didn't have luck with or have had a hard time getting going. So I can't really give you a good idea about whether some of those will work well or not. And then more cosmic purple carrots. Carrots are another great thing to plant in the fall if you can get them to germinate, which, as I already mentioned, I struggle with. So whew, that's the fall planting, but I still have one more thing to go through. So last but not least, I have my seeds that just came in the mail this week, and I have not had a time to file them yet in my seed box. So they haven't even made it in yet. So let's see what I'm looking at growing this year. And as you're going through all of these seeds, you might be asking, does she really have room to plant all of this? No, I don't. I suffer from something that many gardeners have, and that is over purchasing seeds and without a clear idea of where I'm going to place it. So I would encourage you to possibly think through a little bit before you purchase all of your seeds, which I try to do every year, and then I always fail. But if you can't help it like me, it's okay. You'll squeeze it in somewhere at some point, right? So this is a new one that I'm trying this year. Bitter melon. I have been working on controlling my blood sugar so that I can really sort of optimize it. And I've heard that bitter melon is one of the really good vegetables, fruits, I guess technically a fruit, that is good for helping control blood sugar. I thought, well, I'll give it a try. And so this is a white one. I have no idea how to say it. Jyunpaku. Okinawan. I can say that. Okinawan pure white bitter melon. So I'm going to give bitter melon a try. I'm nervous about the word bitter in bitter melon, but we'll see what that comes out like. Another free packet. This one was for cucumbers. Big tasty cucumber. I'm going to give that one a try. We'll see how that goes. Now, I've always wanted to make those beans. There's like an Italian bean that like they're gigantes or something like that. But I haven't yet found a good big bean that I can grow that sort of is the equivalent of that. And so I thought I would give this one a try. I wish these names were things I could pronounce, but sometimes they come from other countries and make it a little bit challenging. So this one is a pole bean, and it's haricot tarbias beans. Tarbase? HARICOT TARBAIS beans. Snowy white dry beans of remarkable tenderness. I'm going to give that one a try and see how the beans grow and taste. And this one is tatsoi. It is a type, kind of like a bok choy, supposed to be very, very tasty. So new vegetable. I thought I would give that one a try this year. And then this is what happens when you don't pay close attention. You accidentally buy things, A, that you already have, and B, and you bought two of them by accident. So be careful when you go to do your checkout that you only have one, because I'm never going to eat this much endive. And I still have endive left over from last year. So 2 new things of endive to try this year. And this was a free seed packet. I thought, geez, I didn't order grass, and this is what this looks like. But it says Chinese chives. So I have to tell you, though, it looks like grass, not like your traditional chives that I'm familiar with. But it says it's winter tolerant, great for greenhouse production, and has a delicate garlic flavor popular in Asian cuisine. So I'm definitely going to give it a try. You know that. And I got more of the Landis winter lettuce because there was not that much seed left from the year before. More carrots to try. This one is new Carota. Again, a shorter type carrot that I'm trying to see if that will grow better in the soil that I have out there. So looking forward to giving that a try. New type of basil, mamolo, Mammolo. This one is exceptionally high leaf production, so I thought I would give that a try. I'm always wanting to try something new. I'm going to save that one for a minute. Blauerspeck. Finally, a foreign word that I can pronounce. Blauer, it's blue, and Speck is bacon. So this must have a very good taste to it. This is a kohlrabi. I've never grown kohlrabi. I was looking at, I tried one, I forgot the name of it, but tried it at another master gardener's house. Schmelz or something, I think. Another German name. And it was really good, but it was huge. I mean, it was the bulb-ish kind of thing on the kohlrabi was as big as my head. I'm not kidding you. And I decided I didn't really have room for something quite that big in my garden. So I would try a smaller kohlrabi. And this one says, I remember looking at the description, and it doesn't have as many like stems. They seem smaller, and that seemed like a good option for my smaller garden. So I'm going to give Blauerspeck kohlrabi a try this year. Also, if you have a trellis, it really enhances your ability to grow certain crops, such as, I'm going to give a try this year, Taiwan yard-long beans. These can really be like a yard long. But I hear that they're possibly better when they're more like 12 inches. But I've also heard they could possibly be used as kind of a pasta substitute. So I'm going to try that this year. Yard-long beans and see how those go. Ice Queen lettuce. So this is a type of iceberg lettuce. Now, a lot of people think that iceberg lettuce is not very nutrient dense, but that's not actually the case. It all depends upon the variety that you get. This one looked pretty green to me, so I thought I would give this one a try. I think it was the only one I saw. Maybe they have other ones, but it's the only one I saw at Baker Creek. So I'm going to give some iceberg lettuce to try this year too. And here we have the China Jade cucumber. This is a really beautiful dark green color, and it looked promising. So I thought I'm always trying different types of cucumbers and tomatoes and finding ones that I really like. And I always like trying something new, something I've never grown before. And most importantly, something that I can't buy in the grocery store. Because if I can buy it in the grocery store, I might as well buy it in the grocery store. With my limited space, I like to grow things that I cannot find in the grocery store. So here's a butter crunch lettuce, another free seed packet. Again, if you buy seeds, they give you free seeds. This is Minion Single Mix Dahlia. And again, this is a very simple dahlia, and it's seed. It's not a tuber. And so I thought, hey, let's find a spot to try that one this year. Looks like a mix of colors and looks just really beautiful. Again, it has kind of that daisy look, which I really love. Now, where I'm going to grow this, I don't know, but I have probably delusions of grandeur here, but I would love someday to grow my own wheat and make my own bread from that wheat. So this is called red fife wheat. Some of the things I saw online is that it's kind of tall, but it's supposed to be a kind of a high protein wheat, I believe. It says it's an old Mennonite variety, and it was very popular during the late 1800s. Can be grown as a winter or a spring wheat. And I would love to grow some of my own wheat and make my own bread with it. And we'll see if I can find a spot for that this year or not. I have a couple of ideas. Now, another melon, or another thing I'm going to try this year rather, is melon. This one's the model melon. I find it very difficult to grow melon here in Olympia. We usually don't have that great of weather. But again, this is a Polish variety. It's supposed to be very popular, supposed to be quick maturing for a melon. So I might give that a whirl and see if we can get some kind of melon growing here. More zucchini rampicante because my other seed is getting a little bit old and I want to make sure that I have that this year. Now, this one is absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. Orchid cream nasturtium. Isn't that gorgeous? It's so pretty. You have this kind of white creamish color background as well as the red stripes. So it's definitely different than any other nasturtium that I've seen. And looking forward to giving that a try this year. Now, the other thing that I grew this year, or that I'm hoping to grow this year, are two different types of corn that I've never grown before, but these were bred in Montana and are for short growing seasons. One is called Papa's Blue, and it's a blue corn, and then the other one, Atomic Orange. And so these are not sweet corns, not types that you would want to like pull the ear off and just start, going to town on it. These are for making flour, and I think it would be fantastic to grow some of my own corn, make my own flour, make my own, you could make blue cornbread, for example. Again, something you can't really buy in the store. That's my obsession, apparently. But I like it. It's the fun adventure of being a gardener to try and grow something new, unique, and different, and just having the ability to say, hey, I grew this myself and it turned out amazing, or it didn't turn out, whatever, but you did it yourself and you tried. So that took a while, but we've gone through my entire seed collection. It changes from year to year. I have some favorites, as you noticed going through, that I'll have every year, but I also have more than a few new things to try each year, and I encourage you to try the same thing. So, happy growing.